You don't know it's there. It's not going to yell like this. It's not going to raise its voice. It's not going to say, hey, I'm carbon monoxide, I'm in your home. Here's why you want to have your system maintained, especially if it uses fossil fuels. Think about this. It heats by burning oil or gas. And what does burning something do? It produces byproducts. One of the most common is carbon monoxide, also known as the silent killer. Notice how I say this with a very loud voice, because it is a silent killer. You don't know it's there. It's not going to yell like this. It's not going to raise its voice. It's not going to say, hey, I'm carbon monoxide, I'm in your home. It's just going to leak out there. And in very slow leaks, it will have more chronic impact, more chronic effects. It will send you to the doctor and they may not know what's going on. And you suffer long-term exposure. Or, sadly, tragically, the real tragic, you have acute effects. Meaning, you go to bed and you don't wake up. It happens. Remember that family a couple years ago? They were on vacation in Mexico. The friends showed up at the airport to pick them up. They weren't there because sadly the mother and the father and the two kids came back from the beach, went to lay down to take naps, and died because the water heater was leaking carbon monoxide. So it is a silent killer. So if you use one with combustion gas, you want to make sure that that thing is working properly, is not leaking, and that your maintenance involves a test for carbon monoxide. There's a lot of other stuff that's in byproducts of combustion. Carbon monoxide is the one, like if that's getting out, the other stuff is getting out. So we want to make sure that your system is operating safely from that perspective. It's also a good time to make sure you have carbon monoxide detectors in the home. In California, it's a law. If we pull a building permit on an older existing home, we have to upgrade the carbon monoxide detectors before the permit can close. Any new construction, it's required. You sell a house, it's required. It's that important. So it's a good time during your maintenance to say, hey, do I have carbon monoxide detectors? Maybe I should get them. Yes, you should. Also, if you have them, including the smoke detectors, good time to have your batteries changed. Any good HVAC contractor coming out to do these maintenances, we should be more than happy and willing to change those batteries for you and test your system. They even have ones that are carbon monoxide and smoke detectors in one. And this company, Building 36, which we do business with, has carbon monoxide detectors that connect to hubs and things like that, and you can check things from your phone. It's really cool technology. It keeps you in touch with things when you're away. So make sure your system is operating properly and safely is the number one reason to get a heating maintenance. Properly, safely, also ensures efficiency and comfort. Okay? So, a couple things. There's gas pressures to check. You're going to want to make sure your gas pressure is being checked. Make sure it's not too high or too low. You want to make sure the venting is proper. This has not come off. I have been into homes as a technician where I get up in an attic and the venting is laying there in the attic, or it's hanging, but it's come off where it's venting out of the unit, because we get tremors and things like that, and sometimes that's just enough to shake things off. It should be attached correctly, but it isn't always. So that should always be checked for integrity to make sure it's properly venting. There should be a visual of the cap on the roof to make sure it's venting. Of course, if your cap comes down, you're going to know it because your system's going to have issues and rollouts and things like that. Also, what we're checking next is the safeties. Your furnace has a lot of safeties on it, okay? I always like to say it's like dominoes. If you're going to start here, and over here is ignition. Each one of these dominoes has to fall properly in order for your furnace to kick on. So if any of that happens, if these dominoes don't fall exactly as they should, your system's not going to turn on. Ideally. I mean, we've seen some stuff where somebody's come in before, two trucks in a truck, or the handyman or the homeowner, and has bypassed safeties. For instance, there's a door switch. You put a door panel on, there's a door switch. Well, let's just bypass that. No, don't bypass the safety. If you have a technician come to your home and they say we can just bypass that safety until the part comes in, no. Say no. Say, no. We no bypass safety, all right? I don't know what accent that was. It sucked, but the point is you do not bypass a safety. Safeties are there for a reason. You're gonna have a couple of safeties are pressure switches. There's pressure switches that basically make sure that fan's working properly. You've got a safety that imagine this, your system's heating and all of a sudden the blower motor that is in the unit and pushes the air through the unit stops working. But your gas feeding the unit keeps going. It's going to get very hot very quickly, and things are going to catch on fire. So it has to know that that stopped working. We need to shut down the gas and the flame, which shutting down the gas shuts down the flame. Now, what if the flame goes out for some reason? Well, the gas needs to know to shut off. If for some reason you lose flame, the gas has to shut off. Otherwise, you're going to start pumping gas into the house, which is another thing we're going to check is gas leaks. We want to make sure that there is no gas leaking in any of the connections, joints, valves, fittings, whatever you want to call it. We want to make sure that there's no leaking occurring. We're going to make sure the burners are clean and the flame is correct for the most efficient heating you can get. We're also going to look at the heat exchanger. We want to make sure the heat exchanger is not compromised, not cracked, or anything like that. We're going to look at the blower motors. There's a whole list of things we're going to do. You have flame sensors that are part of the safety, all of that. So they're all going to be checked out. This is just kind of a reminder, get your heating maintenance scheduled. Whether you're a customer of the General, whether you're in our territory or not, wherever you are in the country, now is the time to start getting your heating maintenance scheduled. Now, you do not need to schedule it before the first cold day. You can do it in December. The basic thing is in the season you want to do it. Now, if you could get it done earlier, fantastic. But don't think that we're already in December or January. I don't need to do it. It's too late. No. Get it done in the season. Get it done in the season. But now is the time to get your appointment scheduled with whoever your contractor is, because once the cold weather hits, that's when the contractors are going to get busy with what we call demand calls. Right now, the weather's perfect because there's not a high demand right now. So go ahead and make sure wherever you are in the country, if you have a contractor, call them, get it scheduled. If you don't have a contractor, find a good contractor, get your heating maintenance scheduled. And I'm going to be coming out with part 2 video where we're going to go through a furnace. I'm going to have a furnace here. We're going to go through. I'm going to point out some of these things specifically so you understand what they are and what their function is and where they're located. So when your technician comes to talk to you about some findings or some concerns, you have an idea of what they're talking about. So stay tuned for that video. Be out here very soon.